Jamie, and welcome to my YouTube show, The Divine GPS Navigator. And today we're going to be talking about Mercury retrograde. Some of you kind of grumble at this topic, but it does happen 3 times a year. And I'd like to help you to use it in the highest and best way possible to make your life more joyful. It will be starting tomorrow, April 9th, and will complete on May 3rd. Now, from our perspective on Earth, it does look like Mercury is going backwards. And that's because of its relationship between both the Earth and the Earth and Mercury's orbit around the Sun. As many of you know, Mercury is considered the messenger of the gods and also called Hermes in Greek mythology. It really is the planet that is connected with communication and all kinds of scheduling. Now, as people, it rules our everyday mind. And some people call that the lower mind in astrology. And I know I've never been able to count all my thoughts, but Mercury is busy filtering those and has an attitude about almost every single one of those. So during this cycle, unless I use the energy properly, it can be a chaotic time. And I personally want to help all of us to use it in a different way. Now, Mercury is currently in the fire sign of Aries, and you may find yourself thinking, your thoughts are racing, and you may even find you're speaking a little faster than normal. That would be because of this fiery influence of Aries. And it will be in this sign of Aries until April 30th. Then it will continue moving back through the water sign of Pisces for a few days until the 3rd of May. And at that time, our thoughts will definitely slow down a little bit, and there'll be a stronger emotional tone and maybe feeling in your communications. Now, what's really valuable during this cycle is if you can take a few minutes, preferably in the morning, to get centered, or you might say just a quiet time to reflect a little bit on your day, what's important. Might be valuable to also reflect a little bit in the evening after it's over. And one of the things that I like to do is use that acronym THINK. Did I behave in a way that my interactions with others were thoughtful? Were they helpful? Were they intelligent? Were they necessary? And were they kind? And I try to use this the best I can during this type of a cycle. Here's the gift during Mercury. It's a great time to reorganize your thinking. It also might be a good time to reorganize your closet or projects that are sitting and need to be done. It's a time to repay debts that aren't just financial. There may be some other things that need to be repaid or taken care of. But the good news is someone may repay you and you may get unexpected money, and that's always fun. It's a time to reconsider things. It's also a time to reflect during these 3 weeks. Are there things you'd like to do differently in your daily routine? One of the most important things I know for myself and for others is being able to trust that although it seems like a chaotic time in the external world, and people are seem a little bit distracted, and of course now we're digitally always very distracted, unfortunately. But this, I would say the 2 most important keywords and attitudes are flexibility and a sense of humor. Now, in the small picture, it seems that we're being inconvenienced during a Mercury retrograde. We may find someone cancels. They show up when they're not supposed to. Things are late. Things are early. It's like we lose our control over our schedule. And for most of us, we feel like that's one of the few places we like to get our to-do list done and get things done. But here's the gift during a Mercury retrograde, if you can remember this, that during those interruptions, it may be that the universe or the Great Spirit or God, whatever is your personal perspective, is really trying to give you a gift. Even though your client didn't show up or your coworker washed out on the appointment, you may meet the most amazing person that offers a work opportunity, maybe a very good laugh, perhaps becomes a social connection. So during those blank spaces or times when things are frustrating because it doesn't seem to be going in the flow that you like, please stay open because some magical opportunities can come your way. Or perhaps you're really tired and you needed to rest during that time. So I encourage people during this time to really have a weekly schedule and a daily schedule that is like the best possible. And then if two things are done, they may be done so much better on Wednesday than they were on Monday. And if you can keep this perspective and do your best to not sweat the small stuff, you will have a much more positive and useful time during this cycle. Just remember that other people, if they don't know about this, their lives can be fairly frantic. And what's valuable for you is not to overreact to them. I know it almost goes without saying these days, if you're traveling, especially on public transportation, a train or a plane during this time, or other bus, whatever that might be. Of course, it's always good to have your little extra suitcase with you with your basic necessities. I've even had planes early. I've had them late. I've missed them. But sometimes it was really great protection. Something happened that it was really for my best good that I didn't take that type of transportation at that time. And I want you to think positive because you might not be able to get that rental car and end up on a limo or in a bus. And you may be sitting next to the greatest person you always wanted to meet. And there you are. And that's thanks to this Mercury retrograde. So try to remember that. It's also a valuable time to renegotiate. Now, there may be things that just need to be discussed. It doesn't have to be formal. It doesn't mean it has to be a real contract or something, but it could be formal. It could be something for work or even your family that needs to be discussed. Perhaps you're remodeling or you're thinking about a bank loan, whatever it might be. This is a valuable time to have discussions and negotiations and really be able to iron things out, speak, heart to heart, or even have a third person help you. I do encourage you, if it's possible, to avoid signing final documents, if possible, until May 3rd or even May 4th. And it will help you in the long run. If that's not possible, it's totally fine, but just stay open. There may be a few last minute details that need to be ironed out that generally always turn out to be in your best good. I know I've had many wild experiences. I remember one time I moved into a house and they were actually remodeling it during a Mercury retrograde, and we had very little kitchen. So we actually had a free month's rent, and it was very, very inconvenient, but that was their way to compensate us because they needed to remodel the property. And we still got to live there and just had to be flexible and eat out, and it all worked out. Other thing is, as I mentioned before, about people paying debts and you're getting repaid, which is always nice to remember. So flexibility is the key. It's an important time. There may be something that takes a little longer than you want it to, but by the end, especially maybe some kind of a written project, something you're working on, you may find after the retrograde, it's 1,000 times better than it ever would have been. Enjoy the cycle, do your best. I will say that we have a number of retrogrades and things going on in April. So if you can wear your patience hat, I'm going to be doing several shows talking about these cycles this month, but I did want to give you the heads up on this one so you can prepare yourself with that flexibility in your schedule. I'm Astro Coach Amy. Have a great evening or wherever you are, morning, and I look forward to seeing you again soon.